Let me tell you something that might just change the way you see your current situation. Ooh, this is not failure, it's preparation, AD. I know you feel like everything is caving in. I know you're wondering how it all fell apart so quickly. You thought this relationship was forever. You thought that job was the one. You thought you were finally about to step into your season. And then boom, the door slammed, the people left, the deal fell through. And now you're sitting, the questioning your worth, your calling, your ability, even your God. But I came to remind you, just because it doesn't feel good doesn't mean it's not working for your good. Sometimes we confuse comfort with confirmation. We think if it's easy, it must be God. But what if I told you that discomfort is not always the enemy? It might be the evidence that you're being stretched for what's next. You're not being rejected, you're being redirected. You're not falling apart, you're being rebuilt stronger. You're not going backward, you're being positioned for something greater than what you were holding on to. You see, preparation rarely looks like what we imagine. We pray for strength, and God sends resistance. We ask for wisdom, and he sends confusion so that we'll seek clarity in him. We cry out for promotion, and he lets us walk through humiliation to teach us how to handle honor without arrogance. You thought it was a curse, but it was a course. It was your classroom. It was your training ground, because what's coming next up will demand more maturity than what you had in the last season. I know you're tired. I know you feel like you gave your all and still came up short. But maybe you're not being punished. Maybe you're being prepared. Preparation disguises itself in the garments of struggle. It wears the clothes of confusion. It sometimes comes through closed doors, lonely nights, betrayal, and disappointment. But God will let the stage fall before the spotlight shines, so that when the curtain finally rises, you'll have enough character to carry what he places on your shoulders. Let's be real. Some of us wanted the promise without the process. We wanted the crown without the cross. But God knows if you step into a blessing too early, it'll crush you. So he holds you back, not because you're not chosen, but because you're not ready yet. And if he has to break your heart to build your character, he will. If he has to disappoint your plans to align you with his purpose, he will. If he has to delay your timeline to protect your destiny, he will. Because he loves you too much to let you succeed before you're steady. Have you ever watched how a seed grows? It disappears into the soil. It looks like it's gone, like it failed. But beneath the surface, there's activity. There's pressure. There's pushing. There's stretching. And all of that is preparation. The root comes before the fruit. God is rooting you before he displays you. He's anchoring your soul, securing your faith, deepening your trust, because he knows storms will come when the platform is bigger. He knows critics get louder when the calling grows heavier. And if he lets you bloom before you're built, the winds of life will blow you away. So stop cursing the dirt. Stop crying over the silence. Stop mourning the closed doors. This is not the end. This is the middle. This is not failure. It's formation. God is shaping you, molding you, chiseling off the things that can't go with you into your next. You're not stuck. You're stationed. You're not abandoned. You're aligned. Every tear you've cried, every prayer you've whispered, every moment you felt forgotten, it's all being woven into your story. And when it's time, you'll look back and realize that nothing was wasted. Not 1 second, not one disappointment, not one setback. It was all preparation. Because when he finally brings you into that room, you won't just fit, you'll belong. When he finally opens that door, you won't walk in insecure, you'll walk in ready. When he finally gives you the thing you've been praying for, you'll know how to carry it with grace, with wisdom, with authority. Because the preparation produced something in you that the platform never could. This is not failure, it's preparation. Everybody wants the promise, but not everybody wants the process. Everybody wants to walk into purpose, but few are willing to be processed for it. We shout about the blessing, we dance about the dream, we celebrate the vision. But when the crushing comes, when the breaking comes, when the silent seasons show up, we start asking, God, where are you? But let me tell you, God is not absent in the process. He's present learn it ed. In fact, it's in the process where you truly discover who you are, who he is, and what you're made of. You grow through what you go through. You don't grow on the mountaintop. No, you grow in the valley. You grow when your faith is stretched, when your patience is tested, when your identity is shaken. It's in those hard places, those secret, painful, in-between places where God does his deepest work. He's not just interested in what you do. He's interested in who you're becoming. Some of us are so eager to get to the next level, but we haven't yet mastered this one. We want elevation without foundation. We want the throne without the training. But God is not going to promote someone who refuses to be processed. You don't become a diamond without pressure. You don't become strong without resistance. You don't learn to stand in power unless you've had seasons where you had to crawl in weakness. There are some lessons you can only learn when life doesn't go your way. You can't learn patience when everything is instant. You can't learn trust when everything makes sense. You can't learn resilience when everything is easy. There are some things you have to endure to evolve. Some things you have to outlast to overcome. And I know it doesn't feel good. You're saying, why do I have to go through this? Why can't it just happen now? Because what God is building in you is bigger than what you can see. He's building strength, not speed. He's teaching you how to carry weight, not just how to chase winds. If he gave it to you right now, you'd fumble it. If he opened that door too soon, it would break you instead of bless you. See, everybody claps for the breakthrough, but nobody talks about the burden. Everybody wants the stage, but nobody wants the struggle. But the truth is, the struggle is necessary because it's in the struggle that you learn discipline. It's in the struggle that you discover what matters. It's in the struggle that you stop living for people and start living for purpose. I came to tell somebody, don't rush the process. Don't about the lesson. Don't quit in the middle of it. Not you take they're not just growing through it. You're learning how to be faithful when it's dry, how to be generous when it hurts, how to worship when it's silent. That's not failure. That's formation. That's not punishment. That's preparation. There are people watching your process. There are eyes on your response. Will you trust God even when you don't understand him? Will you still believe when the doors are closed and the answers are few? Because faith is not proven when everything works out. Faith is proven when nothing does. But you trust anyway when you show up anyway. When you praise anyway, what you're walking through might not be what you wanted, but it may be exactly what you needed. Because in this process, you're becoming more patient, becoming more focused, becoming more disciplined, becoming more grateful. That process is shaping the person who's going to carry the promise. And when you come out of it, and you will come out, you'll come out stronger, wiser, deeper, sharper. Don't despise the pressure. Diamonds are formed in it. Don't run from the stretching. Muscles are built in it. Don't resist the waiting. Strength is developed in it. You're not behind. You're being built. And when God builds something, he doesn't rush. He's not microwaving your miracle. He's slow cooking your maturity. So don't give up in the middle. Don't walk away just because it hurts. Endure the process. Because after the process comes the promotion. After the fire comes the fullness. After the stretching comes the stepping in. God is not wasting any part of your journey. He's using every tear, every delay, every detour. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is random. Nothing is in vain. You grow through what you go through. Let me talk to the people who feel like life has robbed them. The ones who've been walking around heavy, carrying disappointment like it's a second skin. You've been trying to smile, trying to stay strong, trying to keep showing up, but inside you feel broken. You feel overlooked. You feel like you've lost so much that there's no way anything good can come out of this. But listen to Meg. Your struggle is not wasted. Your pain has a purpose. Your loss carries a lesson. This is not failure. It's preparation, and the preparation is happening you in the struggle. We love to celebrate victory, but we don't realize that victory is birthed out of loss. Strength is not something you're born with. It's something you discover through seasons that test every part of you. Sometimes it takes losing what you thought you needed to find out what you really carry. Sometimes God will strip away the extra so you can see what was essential all along. And yes, it hurts. Yes, it breaks you open. But that breaking is not to destroy you, it's to develop you. The struggle doesn't mean you're cursed. It means you're being cultivated. God uses struggle to stretch your capacity, to pull you out of comfort, to shape your character. You wouldn't be as prayerful as you are now if everything had worked out the first time. You wouldn't be as strong as you are now if they hadn't walked away. You wouldn't have discovered your voice, your power, your faith if the road had been easy. The struggle brought something out of you that peace never could. Don't miss the meaning in the middle of the mess. The enemy wants you to believe that this is just random pain. He wants you to feel defeated, drained, disqualified. But God is strategic. He doesn't allow struggle without putting something in it for your good. That heartbreak taught you how to set boundaries. That layoff forced you to discover the gift that was buried under your job title. That season of silence helped you hear God without the noise of other people's opinions. What looked like a loss was actually a lesson wrapped in pain. The struggle reveals who's real. When you go through something, you find out who's for you and who was just with you for what you had. You find out who has the capacity to carry you and who can't handle your truth. Struggle uncovers what comfort hides. It strips away the fake, the shallow, the surface, and leaves you with what's solid. And sometimes that's lonely. Sometimes you look around and realize the people you thought would always be there are gone. But don't mourn their absence too long. God is making room. I know you thought it was a setback, but it was really a setup, because in the dark seasons, God was downloading something in you. He was equipping you in ways no book, no sermon, no podcast ever could. Some of your greatest anointing came in seasons of crushing. Some of your deepest wisdom came in the wilderness. You didn't even realize it, but the oil is flowing from the places that hurt the most. You're carrying power now, not because of what went right, because of what went you wrong. That's why you can't quit here. That's why you can't throw in the towel. Because the very thing that's been weighing you down might be the thing that's building you up. The pressure isn't punishment. It's preparation. The tears are not weakness. They're watering your strength. Don't despise the struggle. Lean into it. Learn from it. Let it teach you. Let it humble you. Let it strengthen your faith, because what you're going through is not in vain. You're not just surviving, you're being shaped. You're not just hurting, you're being healed in places you didn't even know were broken. God is doing something deeper, something eternal, something foundational. He's not just fixing your situation. He's forming you into someone who can carry what's coming. The next season requires a different version of you. And the only way to get there is through this. So don't waste the lesson in the loss. Don't walk away from the process before it's done. You may not see it now, but one day you'll look back and thank God for what didn't work. You'll thank him for who left. You'll thank him for what you had to walk through. Because it was that thing that unlocked this strength. It was that season that unlocked this voice. It was that heartbreak that unlocked this clarity. God didn't let it break you to destroy you. He let it break you to build you better. What you're facing is not failure. It's your foundation. Some of you are looking at your life right now, and all you can see is the mess. Everything's out of place. What you built is broken. What you dreamed about feels distant. You're standing in the middle of the storm asking, how did I end up here? But let me tell you something that will shift your whole perspective. This is not a setback, it's a setup to you are not being buried, you are being planted, and what feels like the end is actually the beginning of something greater than you imagine. God has a way of flipping the script. Just when you think it's over, he turns the page. Just when you think the curtain has closed, he raises it again for a new scene. You thought the rejection was the finale, but it was the setup for resurrection. You thought the delay was a denial, but it was a divine detour. You thought the silence meant you were forgotten. God was planning your reintroduction. You were crying because they walked away, but if they had stayed, you would have settled. You were grieving over the door that closed, but if it had opened, you would have missed what was behind the one he's preparing. God will let you lose things you thought you couldn't live without, so he can show you that what he placed inside you is enough to rebuild, to restart, to rise again. See, you've been measuring your progress by what you can see, but real movement doesn't always look like motion. Sometimes God hides you, sometimes he takes you behind the scenes, not to punish you, but to prepare you, because what he's building in you doesn't require applause yet. It requires depth. It requires strength. It requires maturity, and you can't that in the spotlight. You get in the shadows. He sets you back so he can set you up. But the setup doesn't feel like victory at first. No, it feels like isolation. It feels like confusion. It feels like pain. But behind every painful moment is a hidden purpose. Behind every betrayal is a breakthrough waiting to happen. Behind every season of lack is a lesson of abundance. If you don't quit before you see the fruit of, you've got to trust that the God who allowed the setback is the same God orchestrating the comeback. He didn't bring you this far to leave you. He didn't invest much in you to walk away from what he started. He said he would complete the work, and he's still working. Even when it looks like nothing's moving even when everything around you says failure. He's moving pieces, opening hearts, shifting the atmosphere. And when it's time, he'll flip the whole situation in a moment. But you've got to stay ready, because when the door opens, it won't be time to get prepared. It'll be time to walk through. This is your training ground. This is where you learn how to walk in grace under pressure. This is where you develop the character to carry the calling. This is where you build the backbone to stand when others crumble. This is where God teaches you how to fight battles in private before you face giants in public. You're not losing. You're learning. You're not falling apart. You're being fortified. And if you could see what's on the other side of this struggle, you'd stop crying and start praising. Because the setup is so much bigger than the setback. What's ahead of you is going to make forget the pain behind you. What he's about to release in your life is going to make sense of everything you had to survive. You've been faithful in the dry place. You've stayed when it would have been easier to walk away. You've prayed through the pain, praised through the disappointment, stood through the silence. And now God says, get ready, because what felt like a wilderness is about to become your well. What looked like a breakdown is about to birth your breakthrough. What others walked away from, God is about to resurrect. And when he does it, you won't have to force it, fight for it, or fake it. You'll just walk into it because it was already yours. So don't give up now. Don't let the enemy convince you it's over. Don't bound on the process, because as it got uncomfortable, you are not being punished. You're being positioned. You are not being overlooked. You're being refined. Every setback is a setup for something greater, something deeper, something stronger. God is not just writing a story. He's crafting a legacy. And your current struggle is just one chapter in a much greater book. When it all unfolds, when the dust settles, and when the promise comes to pass, you'll look back and say, hey, if it hadn't been for that setback, I wouldn't be standing in this setup.